So we're back again. We talked a little bit about just getting back into the groove of things today. Again, trying to stick with the timeline. Some of the early things that you have to do in divorce as a man is you have to get back to work. And, a lot of people will try to tell you that, just dive back into it, bury yourself in that. And it's, again, like I said in another video, it's not wrong. It's very vague and what it means. But the reality is you have to get back to work. Life has to go on to an extent. It's not going to be the exact same as it was, but chances are you're not quitting your job or you're not set up in a place where you can just not do anything. So you need to get back to work. You got to pay bills. You got to do all that stuff. You got to exist. So one of the early things that come up is, what is that like? Everything's going to change because everyone at your job, depending on how long you've been married, they know you, as a married man to what is now your ex. And that can be different because there's a lot of identity change and identity shifting that's happening in this process. And I mean, let's be real. A heavy portion of our life is showing up at our job as ourself. And up until that point, yourself included the other half. It was you and your spouse. So there's a lot of, it's almost like a whole kind of weird. It's hard to almost even explain because you have what's happening in your personal life and you're trying to navigate that on a daily basis, honestly, a minute by minute basis in all reality. But you almost forget that there's this whole other reality that is your workplace. And everyone knows you a certain way there, or they think they know you. Let's put it that way. They think they know you depending on how close you are with them as a certain person. And now that you've been divorced and it's these early stages, you're kind of almost having to reintroduce yourself, but you have this whole backstory. And it throws so many different layers of emotions and thought processes and how those people will see you. And you start really getting caught up on that. And, it's something you got to address early. I guess that's what I'm getting at. It's something that comes up extremely, extremely fast, depending on, honestly, what day of the week that you and Derek started to talk about this or even got the divorce. You're going back to work. Let's just put it that way. You're going back to work no matter what. And a lot of times, most of the time, people don't know about it. That's up to you to tell them, or it was, up to, I guess, word of mouth might spread enough that people might know and start asking questions. Or if you're one of the people that, make the mistake of blasting your whole business all over social media, I guess everyone will know and form their own opinion. But one of the things is knowing, again, just dealing with as things are right now, how the world is, and not what you think the world should be. So in that moment, one of the quickest ways to navigate that space is that you just wake up daily, okay, what is happening? What is the circumstance? What is my situation personally? Not anybody else's situation, because that doesn't matter, because remember, the only thing you control is yourself. But what is my situation and what is my reality? And then from there, it's just speaking to yourself in a certain way. It's going to be easy to get negative in these early days, which is what we don't want to do. But holy crap, it's easy. But starting that first day of work off is, making sure you're not, trying your hardest to not dread it. trying your hardest to not repeat negative statements about your job or about the situation that you're about to walk into, or how much you don't want to be at work, or how much you hate this, or any of that stuff. Because the more you do that, the more it's going to just compound and compound. It's going to be harder the next day, the next day, the next day. So if you can get those couple things right out of the gate, understanding your reality and making sure you're not speaking too negative in the early stages about it, because you're going to have to go back. You're going to have to go back to work. You're going to have to figure out how to make money. I guess if you really wanted to quit your job because you hated it, you wanted to find a new job, that's fine. But you still have to exist in your current reality, which is you are now a divorced man trying to figure out how to navigate this space. So getting back directly to the work thing. Well, for me, I'll just tell you how it was and what I do now, and what I can just specifically push backwards to myself. If I would have had this information, I could have used it very succinctly to come to this outcome that I'm at now a lot faster. But, for me, one of the hardest things was literally, waking up and having any sort of drive to do anything, because everything at my job was pretty much based upon showing up, doing my job, collecting my paycheck for my life at home. Thing was that I built my life. I'm sorry. I had picked my job along the way, not based on my desires of who I wanted to be, but based upon what was going to allow me to make the most money, do something that I knew how to do, maybe not even enjoyed, and live the typical American life. So that's what I'd done then. So when I went back to work, I was going to a job that I didn't have any legit passion for. I didn't sit back and build. I was the architect of my life at that moment. It was kind of more or less me walking through a pre-built scenario, and I just happened to choose parts and pieces of that. So again, for me, waking up, dude, legit, I just would wake up. Well, half the time I wouldn't even wake up because I wouldn't even sleep that night, to be honest. I would do whatever to get me through the night. Or I would, if I decided that I couldn't do that, I would lay in bed and fall asleep for what was 30 minutes at a time, wake up for 30 minutes, fall asleep for maybe 20 minutes, wake up for an hour, just real garbage sleep. That was early on. And then when I'd wake up, of course, first thing I'd say, I'm not doing this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to see these people. And I would already build this whole scenario of how horrible it was going to be. And, then I would talk about, the first comment he's like, oh man, how you been? And I'm either going to lie to his face because he doesn't know about the divorce, or he's going to know about it and have his own thoughts, and he's going to think less of me. And I don't know, or just like the pity party garbage, which I didn't want that shit either. But I built this whole scenario before I honestly even, put my first foot on the floor out of bed. I literally just woke up. I hadn't even entered into my day yet. And it was already negative. It was instantly negative. My mind was already decided that the day was ruined. And then as I'd get up, well, again, specifically what I directly went through, maybe this will resonate with some people or some of you, is I would lay in bed until the very absolute last second. I didn't want to be in bed because all my thoughts were garbage, but I didn't want to get up because then I had to face the reality of the world. So I'd sit in this middle gray area that was just honestly pathetic. It was so pathetic. And I just there would be days I wouldn't have time to take a shower. I wouldn't have time to hardly even, put on the proper clothes. And when I say proper, I mean, I'm in construction, I'm an electrician. So I mean, there's certain types of clothes that you should be wearing. And I would just throw on anything. Throw on yesterday's pants. It was pathetic. It's disgusting. But that's what I was doing. That was the environment I was creating for myself. And it all started because before I'd even get out of bed, I just decided it wasn't worth it. None of this is worth it. And so that's how I entered my day, man. I didn't even respect myself enough to put on something that seemed legit to even help me. So, how was I ever going to be able to do any more? And just, that was how I started my day, which was garbage. Complete garbage. So then, of course, as I walked into my day, well, since I'd already spoke into existence the situation that I was worried about, which was people having their thoughts, their opinions, they were going to place them upon me. They were having negative thoughts, or if they didn't know about it, I would have to fake a smile and either decide to lie to them or verbalize my situation, which sucked. But since I decided that already, guess what happened? Because I acted as if I had to do that. Yeah, what do you think happens when you barely get to work on time, or honestly half the time late because your attitude sucked and you couldn't get out of bed in time and you couldn't get your stuff cleaned up? What do you think happens when you show up, with 2.5 seconds left before you should be having your tools in hand, starting your job, whatever it is? People notice, because guess what? When you're happy and doing things normally, unless you were that guy always, which is not good. If you're that guy literally daily, that's a bigger conversation. You got to figure other things out. But like that, people noticed, man. And they started, and that forced the question. Like, I drew the attention because I didn't want the attention. I did these weird things and I was so down on myself. It forced the attention on me. Like, man, what, you all right today? What were you late for? And again, because I'd started my day with such a negative attitude, I read that question as they're prying into my life. Like, I knew they would say that. I knew it. That's what I said at the beginning. I knew it. No, I'm placing the meaning on top of it. And they're just questioning, dude, you're not acting in character. You're out of character. Your patterns aren't normal here. You're falling out of pattern. Well, is everything okay? And then I was an ass. I didn't want to hear it, or I would lie or whatever. But I created that scenario. So there I was a few minutes late. And then also, if it wasn't the late side, it'd be coworkers. Hey, you kind of look like shit. Let's be real. Men say that to each other. It is what it is. And I'd be wearing clothes that weren't appropriate. Half the time I'd show up in shoes, which is the dumbest thing possible in a construction environment. So they'd be like, hey, where's your boots? Where's your steel toe? Like all that. And it drew attention, man. And that's not what I wanted. So the things that I didn't want were all the things that's happening because I wasn't acting in a certain way, man. I was just so negative. So, I pulled that upon myself, but that was me in the early days, man. And what do you think I would do after that, after they would ask me those questions? I'd be shittier. I knew they would ask that. I knew they'd be all up in my business, and I'd form a whole story around that person. Oh, they suck. They're pieces of shit. Why can't they mind their own business? It was all that, man. I mean, how pathetic. How pathetic that I was doing that. I mean, just what a joke. So, and then that went into the rest of my work day. Nobody wanted to talk to me. Nobody really wanted to be around me. Which on one hand is kind of what I wanted. But on the other hand, you're already on your own everywhere else. You're in your own personal life, like struggling to make things make sense, struggling to pull your information together because you're almost reaching out. You're kind of drowning in this ocean, looking for a life raft, but every time one gets thrown towards you, you see it as a brick when it's really, it's a hand, it's a helping hand, and you push it away though. So that was what was being created. I was doing it myself, and I mean, it's dumb, just super, super dumb. And I can't even hardly understand it at times why that was the case, but it was. And by the time my day would be over, I would, sometimes get whatever task I needed done. Probably wouldn't be done very well, or it took me forever to do it the right way, which was also noticed. It was also something that, the boss or the whoever would come to see and think, oh, I don't know, that's unimpressive, which, was awful. Was not the thing that I wanted. Wasn't what I wanted people to see. I wanted people to see and respect my work and look at me as hopefully the person that did the job the right way. But I wouldn't give them that reason because I started my day off with garbage in the early days. I would routinely, speak negative the second I woke up. All that garbage. So it was just massive. It was massive. I created, every single scenario that I had in those days was pretty much the one that I created. I'd place whatever meaning on top of it that I wanted to. It's weird because I'd be telling myself what I didn't want, but by telling myself that and focusing on what I didn't want, all I would get was that, the thing that I verbalized. Problem was, all I was verbalizing was what I didn't want, how bullshit everything was, and everybody else sucked, and everybody was against me. Not the truth, not the reality of the situation. So yeah, but let me get these warm-ups going. That's something else I gotta focus on in these videos is like doing the tasks to get on these kicks. And this is how it would be even before. That's why I decided to start doing the videos this way, because it made the most sense, because I would get on these really, really deep kicks that sometimes felt all over the place, but they actually had a lot of good information. So, but the problem is my workout that should only take about 40 minutes would start to take like an hour to honestly an hour and a half. That's what I'm trying not to do here. But I want to make sure I get the information out more than anything. So be it if that's the case. If I got to do a second workout in the day that's just focused on the fitness side, I'll try to cover that if I have to later as this thing grows. But again, going through there, so there I was having every day in and day out, starting the same, feeling worthless, feeling pathetic. I felt like a pile of shit every morning, and I'd pretty much convince myself that that's what I was, which is so dumb, so ridiculously petty, pathetic, dumb. It was just insanity. That's what I would do. So it went on for weeks and weeks. Honestly, yeah, weeks and weeks probably about it. Because again, some of these things, weeks and weeks is a long time. But some of them, as you do it day in and day out, you start to realize, holy shit, I got to do something different. I can't keep this up. And things were compounding in certain spaces. Because like I said, when I would learn the anchor to get through the night, I would again, everything I learned, I would apply to the next space. So it kind of started to happen with work. Okay, yeah, I wake up, I'm pissed off. Yeah, I talk negative. I barely show up on time, if I show up on time. Maybe I'm a few minutes late, maybe a few minutes late, maybe a few hours late, I don't know. And then I'd have a shitty attitude, barely be ready for work. But the one thing I could do was take action. I could take action, I could get to work. Because I knew that worked, because I'd applied it in other spaces. So I did it there. Get to work, get to doing something. Again, that's not the same as the old advice of just bury yourself in work and get after it, put your head down and grind. That's the best advice. Again, it's not wrong. It's just not explained. It's not broke down. It's not applied to a certain space, which is this divorced space for men. So what that really means is again, common theme here, take massive action. What are you going to do? When do you notice you start to feel the bad? When you're in your own head, right? When you're in your own head, you're not in your body, you're in your head. So when do I have time to be in my head? Well, when I'm not moving, when I'm not doing the task. Well, the first task, which this is a hard one, laying in bed. When you're in that mid state of waking up and getting cleaned up and getting in the shower, brushing your teeth, going to the bathroom, doing all that morning stuff, which is all movement, you're laying in bed. It's that little bit of time from when either A, you woke up from honestly a horrible dream, a nightmare of some sort because you're going through some serious stress, or your alarm, or if you're on your A game and before this, the sun rising or some sort of easy wake up. But either way, when you wake up, there's a small gap there to either sit there and stare at the ceiling or nothing, or just get up and start the movement. So get up and start the movement. Get up, go straight into it. What's the first thing? I gotta go straight into brush my teeth. Immediately, get up, jump out of bed, go brush teeth. Make that a rule. I gotta do this first. That's just what it is. Or get up, chug a bottle of water. Small bottle, like 12 ounces, 16 ounces. Just chug that bottle of water, get that done, get your body filled, but stand up when you're doing it. Move. So now you've done that task. From that task, you need to decide, are you the person that needs a shower? Build your morning routine. And do it without flaw, without haste. Write it down if you have to. And listen, don't get caught up in the actual social media world of morning routine. Because if you do that, you're going to be waking up at 2 a.m. You're going to be spending about 40 grand on extra crap just to get through a morning routine to show up to your job on time. And listen, if you're at this channel, chances are you're an average Joe. Maybe not, but chances are that's what it is. You probably don't have time to get up and do the 16 tasks these people talk about in the mornings. So just create yours. It gets you moving. Mine specifically, depending on the day, because I'm going to throw a little wrench in here. For me, there's kids involved. And the way our custody split, is I get them half time, she gets them half time. That's Tuesday, Thursday, and every other weekend. So every Tuesday, every Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday on the opposite weekends, there's me. So you're talking each one of my mornings, each one of my days has a different routine. But it's only 2. Some people think, geez, now you got to factor that in. Listen, man, it's 2. It's 2 things. Figure out what works and make small adjustments. So for me, first thing was morning routine. Let's start without the kids. That was what I started with. What do I need to do first? Well, dipshit, you laid in bed, act like a little bitch. Guess what? I'm not going to lay in bed because if I'm not laying in bed, I can't act like a little bitch in bed because I'm not there anymore. Alarm goes off, blanket comes off, sheets come off, I stand right the fuck up. Okay, straight to brush my teeth. Okay, brush my teeth. Blasting that out, maybe I'm going to the bathroom same time, I don't know, whatever, brush my teeth. So, right when I get done brushing my teeth, because I'm going to be real with you, I'm not a morning shower person on the days without my kids. Right after I get done brushing my teeth, I go straight out to the kitchen, straight to the closet where I have my stuff organized in a way that I don't need to think, I don't need to turn on lights. I just here's my work pants shelf, work shirt shelf, pow, pow, done. Got them. Okay. Now I'm dressed, I got my teeth brushed, moving on. Back to the bathroom because I want movement. Sounds weird, but I want movement. I want more movement. Because if I found out that if I was standing in that bathroom, brush my teeth, and then I was putting on deodorant, then I was taking a shower, then it was like all in one space. And again, I'm a common dude. I don't have this colossal bathroom that I can take 10 steps across. It's like 2.5 steps. I'm on both sides. So I needed to move. So brush teeth was first, over to my closet to get my clothes, back to the bathroom to put on deodorant and to do any small task that I wanted to do. But in the early days, it was pretty much just that. I do other things now, but specifically then, those were the tasks I did. From there, Back out of the bathroom through the bedroom, straight into the kitchen. So that was something else I started to do. Those early stages. Okay, so that was all things that I built early on and reiterated to get to that spot. That didn't take me long. It only took me a couple days because when I would do everything in the bathroom once, like I said, I'd start thinking too much. Honestly, as weird as it's going to sound, that big fucking mirror that's in front of my sink, I would see me. And the problem was my vision of me wasn't good. So naturally, I would see the vision of me that I didn't like, and I would stare at it too long, which would start the negative thought, which would then take me out of my body and back into my mind, back into my head, which at the time was not a safe place. So that's why I went back and forth between closet, bathroom, straight to the kitchen. From there, I started making my lunch. In the early days, I'm gonna jump back and forth here a little bit on information. So in the early days, I would not make lunch because, again, remember, I barely woke up on time and would haul ass into work, barely get there or be late, which also meant I wasn't prepped for work or lunch. So one of two things would happen. I'd either A, go out to eat, which was some shitty ass garbage food, some, I don't know, some skank old meal like McDonald's or Burger King or something that just sucked. It might have tasted good for the moment, but it was shitty. And, I'd go with some people or not. I really didn't know. And then that would again be more downtime. And it would again be more of me in my head. And I just felt like shit. So I very quickly zeroed in on, okay, here's all the shit that I hate about that situation. Oh, here's how I fix that. Make myself some damn food. Maybe not even make it in the early days. Maybe just have it prepared. Have it with me. Don't leave it up for an option of sitting doing nothing. So, make sandwiches, grab some shit from the cabinets, whatever I may or may not have eaten in the night before. If there's leftovers, I had that. Whatever, who cares? Just put some damn food in a box, bring it for yourself. Don't sit there and make the stupid fucking mistakes of eating garbage, compounding a shitty mind with a shitty body with shitty input. You're going to get nothing but shitty output. So, stop that. So I knew that was the case. So straight into the kitchen now. We're back to morning routine. Now I'm in the kitchen. I'm putting the food together that I want, to not have to just sit at lunch and hate lunch. So, again, for my specific situation, we get a 30-minute lunch break. So I had 30 minutes to eat food and do whatever. Well, I ran into that same trap. Okay, now I'm sitting, because everybody else wanted to go get food. Some days I would go hop in a vehicle with somebody and eat my food in their car, or some days I'd stay back at the job and eat mine. Either way, both of those situations sucked. Either A, I was with somebody that was getting a bunch of garbage food that was temptations, or they wanted to talk about something I didn't care about, and I couldn't actually engage. Or I would sit at the job by myself, which again, now I'm out of my body and back in my mind because I'm just sitting with my thoughts in those early days, sitting with your thoughts by yourself. While when you get control of that side can be some of the most powerful stuff. But in those early days, you don't want to be doing that. You don't want to be sitting in your own thoughts by yourself. If you're sitting in thoughts, you want to be in a like-minded environment as far as, in a group of men that have been through this, that are starting to get control of their own lives. So that way it can't downward spiral itself. Because most people are negative, man. So you don't want to get lost in that. But in these early days, you don't want to get lost in it by yourself, especially. So, again, my circumstance, I said, okay, what is my circumstance? Well, I'm at this job that we get a 30-minute lunch break. There's nothing saying that I can't do something. What's something? Well, a lot of fucking people believe shit for this, but I'd say, screw it, I'm just going to work. I didn't care. Like I would specifically or intentionally have food, whether it be a handheld sandwich, or whether it be like a protein bar, whether it be a shake, just something that I didn't have to stop and hold utensils to eat my food. I didn't need a fork or a spoon or anything to eat. I could have my hand and I could do other things. I could move. I was mobile. So I would do that. I would literally be like, okay, it's lunchtime. Those dudes would take off. I would just open my lunchbox up, grab my sandwich, and go right back up my ladder, or get right back to the task I was doing, or reading the manual of how to install something. That's just what I would do. Now, here's the bad part about that, because I'm just going to be straight up transparent with you. Like I said, I'm an electrician in the construction world. Boy, I got a lot of hate for that. I had a ton of fucking people telling me, you know, which if you're not familiar with this world, this is kind of a side story, but I'm not going to get too far off on it. People tell you that's bullshit. You're ruining it for everybody. Take your lunch, otherwise we're going to lose it. All the fucking garbage that people of a certain field will tell you. Ultimately, all it is because they want you to act in accordance with them, which is, the whole crabs in a bucket thing. One crab tries to get out, the other crabs pull them down. It sucks. So anyways, that's off subject, but that's what would happen. But I didn't give a shit. Those were weak-minded people. I was weak-minded, and I was clear enough in that moment to see that I didn't want to be around more weak-minded people. I was weak-minded in my own space, but they were weak-minded in all their space. So I couldn't be around that. So I didn't. So I would get back to work with whatever meal I made. Now, again, going back to the handhelds, maybe a cheeseburger, maybe a cold meat sandwich, not spaghetti, salads. I would bring occasionally, but you had to sit down and you had to eat it a certain way. So at work, I would not pack stuff like that. So it was sandwiches for me. And that's just what I would do. But that got me through that next step. That was my next layer. So that's why my morning routine of making my stuff in my kitchen was so important. So from there, now I've got my lunch made because I was handling that problem of at work. Because again, staying moving. Now we had what would prove to be one of the most difficult parts of my day. From the beginning, the middle, even to now, but just in different ways now. But specifically towards the early days of divorce and trying to figure out how to stay moving was the drive time. Fucking drive time, man. So let's be real. You gotta get to work, right? You gotta get there. Well, how the hell are you getting there? Oh yeah, that's right. You gotta drive. What's driving mean? Oh, that means sitting in your car, right? Sitting in your car, sitting in your truck. Not moving. Let's be real. That's what that means. Not moving. Not being in a good spot mentally, potentially. You're setting yourself up for a hard spot. So that was it, dude. And depending on, go back to the very early days, some of those times, slept in my truck. Some of those times, slept at my mom's house. The truck at my mom's house, we're close to the job. The truck is, you got to find humor in some of this. Let's be real for a minute. If I slept in my truck, dude, I wasn't parking, 6 hours away from the job. I would, again, construction. So there's I guess, different things for different people. I'd park so close to the job, it's ridiculous. I could wake up, maybe asking yourself, well, how the hell did you do all your morning routine stuff? Well, I didn't at that time. Clearly, I didn't have a bathroom at that moment. So again, pathetic, showing up late. My drive time was low though. That was one way in the early stages. I thought, this fucking drive sucks. Like, I'm in my head bad. I could convince myself to not do my job on that drive, and I'd turn around and do nothing all day. So I knew that. So in the early days, the drive time sometimes was waking up and opening my door because I was already parked in the in the job site parking lot. As embarrassing as that is. But yeah, that was one answer at one time, which did, I'll tell you right now, spoiler alert as well. Don't even waste your time with that bullshit. That's just awful. You talk about putting yourself into a bad mental space and somebody sees you get out of your car in the morning when you clearly slept in it. Pretty sure you're not going to feel good about yourself. So what I would do is with that drive time is that was one of the biggest things. I would purposely and intentionally listen to certain, whether it be motivational speeches, powerful talks on growth, on mindset, and overcoming obstacles. Sometimes a lot of big time sports speeches, things like that, because it was something that I connected with. I was an athlete in high school and through college and whatnot, and it was something that resonated with me. So I would listen to big time, powerful people make speeches around those subjects, and it would kind of get me right. I didn't really want it to be about coming out of depression, because I tried that for a couple mornings. And what would ultimately happen continuously was I would hear the word depression over and over and over, and hear these people speaking about, kick yourself out of it, kick this. And the problem with that was, for me, was it was almost like I was acknowledging that I was in a depression and I'm in a fight to get out of it. And I didn't want to speak as if at all. I wanted to make sure that I didn't place things upon myself. I didn't want to speak things into reality that weren't actually there. And with depression being such a slippery slope, this is going to be a very controversial statement, but I think it's worth saying, is I think a lot of times people aren't in depression in the early stages, and it's just the rhetoric around it, like the search terms, whether it be Google or whether it be YouTube, or whether it be talking to a therapist, or whether it be talking to people around you. That word is a little too loosely thrown around. And then especially in a doctor space, depending on what your doctor or therapist, who they are, they can prescribe you things that just aren't going to be good, that you may not even need, that may create a scenario that's not even existing. So just understand that in the early days of navigating your feelings, don't let other people speak things upon you. Also, when they're speaking upon you, your mind starts to create an environment that is around that. That is, hey, you might be going through depression. All of a sudden your mind starts saying, oh crap, okay, preservation, depression, what do I know about depression? And it starts like you're locking in on that word because it's a heavy word. And it's not a fun one. So don't get lost in that. But that was the biggest thing of why I would listen to certain things. I would listen to, motivational speeches just in general. Like, pick your shit up and get after it, man. Billy Allsbrooks, massive. Eric Thomas, massive. Eddie Pinheiro, massive. There's so many of them. Those three just jump out to me because those are some of the ones that I listen to immediately. There's so many, though. There's literally so many, just nonstop. There's fitness ones, there was motivational ones, there was mental ones, there was physical ones. It was tons of them. But those ones jump out at me right away. And but that's what I would listen to. And from there, I kind of built myself a speech within that. And then also, as kind of time went on, I transformed from motivational speeches, because there comes a point where you got to acknowledge too that the motivational speech is just that. It's just a random motivational speech, and you don't want to rely on that as a crutch. You don't want to build that as, I have to listen to this to get into this mindset. I didn't know that at the time. Again, I'm trying to give you this information. That way you can see it without having to go through all the hurdles and the confusing garbage that I did. So when you're listening to motivational speeches, let yourself feel it. Connect to the feeling that it's creating, and connect to how that feeling's becoming real. Connect to the emotions and the chemicals that are being released in your mind and that are flowing through your body to get you going. And start to replicate that. Try to call upon it on your own. Speak in a way that drives those emotions. Start to mimic that speech so you can fade out of the motivational and you can become the leader. You can become the instigator of those emotions and that drive, not them. So from there, this is where it's kind of, some people told me I was weird because they got my truck one time and it was playing on my phone and it just started right away and I really didn't give a shit at this time. I was pretty comfortable, but we jumped in my truck and it was a recording of me telling me how I was going to feel, how I was going to handle that day, how I was going to handle this obstacle, and why I was going to handle that, what I had been through, and why it was going to be easy for me that day. It wasn't even a challenge anymore. Little secret, it was a fucking challenge every day. Every goddamn day is a challenge. But it was me speaking to me about why it's not the challenge, why I'm the man to handle it, why I'm the man that is going to be able to handle it, because he's handled it in the past. And that shit was powerful, dude. And that's what got me to work. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, so that's all this shit I did. You can start building that now. Like right now, you can start doing that. Implement it now. Don't even give yourself the fucking time to go through the wrong turns, all the other bullshit, the ups and downs. Fuck that. Fuck the downs. That's what I'm telling you. I mean, right now, this is what I'm telling you. These are the things to do. Fire up out of bed. Set the morning routine immediately, right? Now, I know I started off with the morning routine without my kids. And that's what this was. I would get to work, and my mind would already be set to go get after the day because once I stepped in there, a lot of people be sitting on chairs, not getting after it. I'd go straight to the gang box, get my tools out, put them on, go do my task. If I didn't know what the task was for the day, I'd find the boss, or if I was the boss on that job, I'd go handle it. I would just get straight into it. Didn't matter. It's like a psycho in that sense. Work. Production went through the roof. This will lead into a different story, but guess what? When you start acting like that and you start getting things done, you start being seen. You start being noticed by the people that matter. They want to move you up. You will start making more money. You will start getting promotions. You will start getting other job offers. Other people in other companies will start to see you and your life will start to grow. That's a little bit further down the road. But this is step one, and it's setting a foundation of a building that just almost can't be toppled. And once you get done building, once you get to a certain, I guess really you're never done building, but once you get to a certain point, nothing can stop you. You will have the strongest building because your foundation is so incredibly strong you've built it. But I mean, that was the work days. Obviously, there's little subtle things in between there that I'm sure come up. Yeah, but what about this? Or yeah, but what about that? Ask that question, man. I don't know those scenarios. I don't know, somebody else's what about this? Yeah, that's good for you, but I'm dealing with, X, Y, or Z. Okay. I got you. I promise you. There's things I've done in so many spaces now since my divorce that I've had to reiterate this. Again, going back to training people in person, training people online, having clients that I, coach throughout things, and through this personal divorce space. Also, got another office job, and I also do online work as far as contracting. So, specifically, when I was going through my divorce in the first layers, I was an electrician. So that's where I'm speaking from. But ask those questions. We can talk through this. We can get through it. So that's like I want to know, and I want to make sure, and I want to grow. If you have other or if you have other inputs that helped you get through, put them in there. Put them in the comments, man. Let's help everybody. That's the goal. So, that was it. At the end of my day, I would get so much done because my mindset was right. That's just where it would be. And that would be my work day, man. Like that's how I did my breaks. That's how I did my lunch. I just kept working. And what I did in the early days was I just worked through it and worked till 3:30 because it was 7 to 3:30 because you got an unpaid half-hour break. So I worked through it. What in the beginning was for free, ultimately I had a conversation because I built up enough trust and built up enough equity in myself as an employee to eventually ask for, hey, I'm working through these lunches. You see that, right? Yeah, I see that. Okay. How about I leave at 3? Can I get that half hour paid technically and I'll just leave at 3? Because I'm working. Yeah, if you're working, You know what, screw it. Yeah, you showed me you can get more done than most others by skipping a half hour and getting after it. So yeah, you can do that. And that's literally what I do to this day in some spaces. If I can work through that break, if it's allowed, it doesn't cause too much problems on the job, then I'm doing it. I'm doing it because it's what makes sense. And then from there, that just sets up my after part of the day, which is not part of this conversation, but then it just sets up my afternoons. It sets up the whole rest of the day. Hey, I get home a half hour earlier. Hey, I can get my workout in better. Hey, I can get a better workout in ultimately. Hey, on my ride home, I can listen to something that's going to help me get my workout in. Man, this is amazing. Everything just started better and better and better. Sarah was compounding. Isn't that weird? In the beginning of this story, it was me laying in bed, acting like a little bitch, listening to the bitch voice. Boss voice wasn't even around. He's being suffocated in the back. The bitch voice and all of his little bitch friends were holding him down. Wouldn't let him even show up. It took me just immediately throwing that sheet off in the beginning to let that boss voice talk a little bit. All those bitch voice decisions throughout the day is what would lead into me being pissed off at a coworker. It's what would lead into me being pissed off at my boss. What would lead into me being late to work. What would lead into me not eating right, which would lead into me feeling like shit, which would lead into me not being there for my children in the best way I could physically, which would lead into me having a horrible conversation with my ex because I was already in a bad mood, and she put me even more in a bad mood because I wasn't strong enough, all that. Or throw that sheet off. Boss voice time. Get up, move, now. Don't think, move, get up. Go brush teeth, now. You know what to do. You've got the list. Brush teeth, done. Get changed, closet, now. Don't stop, don't look at yourself, don't look at that mirror. Go, clothes on. What are you doing from there? Back to the bathroom, move, come on. Don't take too much time looking at yourself. Right in there, deodorant on, bathroom. Get things done, get the small micro tasks you do. Get the hell out of the bathroom right now. You keep moving. Right in the kitchen. Guess what? Food prep. Food prep doesn't have to be this big thing. Some people make it huge, some people don't. Early days food prep, here's a loaf of bread. Slam the whole fucking loaf in my lunchbox. Here's some random hamburgers, throw those in there. Here's some random lunch meat, throw those in there. Whatever it was. Sometimes it was the Oscar Mayer daily lunch meat, and there's a whole loaf of bread, some fucking pieces of cheese. I threw the whole damn thing in there. Didn't care. Didn't make sandwiches. Just threw it all in. Go. Get some water, throw it in. Gallon jug of water, go. Okay, get in your truck. Fire up the motivational speeches early on. Get them going. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Going, 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 going. No time for the bitch voice. He tried. And he tries over and over. And to this day, he still tries. To this day, the bitch voice still tries. No room for him. No time. From there, move on through work. Show up. What are you doing? Where is everybody? It doesn't matter. Where's the gang box? Where's my first step? Where's my first task? How do I get moving? For me specifically, grab tools. Put them on. Get after the task. Get to work. Go, 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 go. If you're hungry, have a small bite to eat. Keep moving. Do not stop. Get the task done. Get more done than you've ever gotten done. Then repeat day in and day out. Like I said, those were the early stages of work. That's the best thing I can give you. We can get deeper in that. Ask the questions. Ask any of the questions. Specific. I don't care if it comes down to what do you eat right now. What are the macros of what you're eating right now? Because if you're that deep into it, that is what I do. If you're just day one getting into it, ask me that. What the hell do I do right now? We'll answer them all. Go after it. Come on. Get after the granular details. Call me out. Have the discussion. Let's go. Okay, now for the second half, which holy shit, it's 50 minutes in. Damn it. All right, I got to get better at that. Okay, we might divide these into two separate videos ultimately when it's all said and done. These first few are going to be mixed together, but we might have to separate these. One day of headspace, second day of fitness. Who cares? But anyways, we started off with back. If you remember, in the last video, when it comes to back, I was doing right here. Remember those were 3 each? We had 14, so 3, 6, 9. Today I did 4 sets. So, puts me at 13 there. I need one more set technically to get to the minimum effective volume. So I might do 1 or 2. Actually, I'll probably do 2 or 3 tomorrow. I would guess. Who knows? But so I did back today. So we're at Saturday. Did one of back. That was the first thing I do because it's a high volume, so I need to get it done. Next one coming down. That one's also high volume, which is biceps. I'm gonna try to get that done today. Then did I do calves next? No, I did quads next. The only reason I did quads, even though quads is a number 2, is because it's 12 and I'd only done it twice. So 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's all I got in there is 9. I'm gonna do 3 more tomorrow. Then I went up to calves. Again, it's number 2. So second priority, but once again, I've only done 2 of them. Need to get 12. So I did 3 of those. Now I'm up here at, where am I at? Chest. So I've only done 2 of those. 12 again. So I'm gonna knock 3 of these out. This is gonna set me up good for a Sunday. Sunday doesn't have to get super stupid, but it can get done. I like to work out 6 to 7 days a week. I like that. Having said that, I could add some of these up, which I said I'm going to, and start to, do like 4 or 5 sets in the week, so I don't have to do a Sunday, because I probably should give myself a little bit of a break. But I'm eating really well right now, and I'm able to do this. I'm able to recover and adapt very, very well. I'm growing, and my calories are decently high. I'm floating around 3,500 right now a day, which is good for me. Different for everybody, but it's good for me. So I'm gonna finish off my chest here. Everything I do starts with since I had only done certain movements that didn't have anything to do with my shoulder joint, other than the pull-ups. I want to make sure I warm up appropriately for my chest, because I've got blood pumping, which is great, but at the same time, I haven't specifically focused on this, so I do the warm-up set with the bar first. I almost don't want any resistance, and I want to make sure that I get the muscles or the joints primed, get everything lubricated up well in that area specifically. And then from there, I'll step up. I try not to do massive steps, because I don't want to shock the muscle too much and create an injury. And as you can tell, I'm wearing a sweatshirt. It's a little cold here in the Midwest. Again, it's November. We had a lot of frost this morning, but the day's heating up quite a bit. I want to say it was about 20 degrees in this garage when it first started earlier. So having said that, I'm gonna start getting into this. So what I've talked about before is I'll do the same exercise. So I've done incline chest press, incline bench chest press. For this is my 4th week. So I'm gonna change all this up Monday and get it all written down and change change the exercise itself up. So I'm hitting a different group, because I'm getting to a point now where 4 weeks in is a good mark to stop and, go up from there. So this will be my first actual working set. I feel like those first 2 are warm-ups. I'm gonna do 3 sets. Again, each one of the check marks were 3 sets. So I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna get this done. I need 12 in the week. Once I get this, I'll have 9. I'll need to do 3 more tomorrow. So probably see a lot of this tomorrow too. But again, M or RIR, remember, reps in reserve. If you hear that somewhere else, you're gonna know what it means here. That's how many reps you have in the tank. We're working up to 2 reps left in the tank each time. I'm trying to do it each time, all 3 sets, going up in weight. If I can't go up in weight anymore because I feel like I might be hurting myself, you got to go up in reps. Once reps get so high, that's when we're going to start changing things up anyways, which that's about that 4-week mark. So that's where we're at here. I started with, again, today was back, the pull-ups. You saw me use a weighted belt. That was one thing that I was starting to realize my pull-ups were getting better and better. You see, as these weeks have gone on, the microphone a little different. As these weeks had gone on, I was getting stronger in pull-ups. Body weight was not enough, which is cool. That shows growth, right? That's what it was. So I was able to lift my own body weight quite a bit more. So I had to strap on 25 extra pounds to create the deficit. So I really, even though I had gone over 10 reps multiple times throughout this 4 weeks, I don't want to be over 10 reps on that last set for sure. I want to make sure that my body understands that we're going for growth, not for endurance, overall strength. Okay. So on that last one, I let it come down a little too quick. I started to feel it, and I let it come down too quick. That was dumb. But I got through it. Not a big deal. We're not training for Mr. Olympia. We're training to be the best one. Training to be better than yesterday, right? Better than last time, as Coach Greg would say. Harder than last time. But that's what we're doing. That's all this is. It's all this workout side is. It's just that. So from there, I'm gonna keep filling, maybe talking a little bit here and there. But I'll probably fast forward through some of these actual workout sides. So you have to sit there and listen to me breathe like a dipshit and everything else. One of the best things about this too, we'll get a little further in this, a little sneak peek into the future. Kind of got some things laid out that I want to talk about eventually, but I gotta lay the foundation first. Otherwise, it's just a fucking fire hose of information just blasting you in the face. It's really hard to pull together, but another guy I listen to a lot, just because his mentality is really, really good, Seth Feroce. Seth Feroce is a IFBB pro bodybuilder. Boy, he's an animal. He was in the 212 class. He's just a beast, and I love his attitude. But he calls it, when it comes to his diet, it's a look good naked diet. Holy shit, I held on to that. The second I heard that, I was holding on to that. So I'm just straight up telling you, that's what this is about. And I'll from screaming from the mountaintops, I got that from Seth Feroce. And shout out to Seth, man. He's an animal. I love listening to him. I love watching him. So look good naked diet, man. I mean, that's what it's about. That's what it's about, especially as a divorced man. Let me be real with you. You're obviously here for your health. You're here for your mental health. You're here for the long term. Well, let's get fucking real. In the early days, majority of people want to get their shit together because they want to look good fucking naked. They want everybody to understand that. Like that's what it is. There ain't nothing better. When you show up somewhere, filling out your clothes appropriately, the right way, and everybody in there you can tell is looking at you like, holy shit, that guy's put together. What's he look like without his shirt on? Every chick in there, what's he look like without his pants on? That's when you know you did it right. Look good naked, baby. That's what it's about. Have the one that left you drooling, begging for you. Have all the other ones climbing on you. You're fighting them off. Like I said, those early days. Those aren't the right nows. That's not where I'm at now. But holy shit, that is a reality. And you feel fucking powerful when you're sitting in that spot. You know goddamn well that nobody else in there has put in the work you have. You know damn well that nobody else looks the way you look because they haven't done what you've done. They aren't willing to. The reason they're not willing to is because they haven't went through what you've went through. Most people can't make it through what we're making it through. That's why a lot don't, sadly to say. That's why I started this, because a lot of people can't make it through this. They don't have their mind right. Look good fucking naked. I don't care if it's the most shallow thing you need to hold on to in the beginning. Fucking hold on to it and grab on tight. Everybody's going to take notice. Who gives a shit? Let it go. Let it fly. You're here for you anyways. Everyone else might as well notice you as well. Like I said, that's for future stuff. Passion starts coming out in those spots. Can't go too hard in that in the beginning. Because again, who the hell's this dipshit coming out of nowhere talking like that? Can't start that way. There's got to be a background. One more set in this chest. We're going to move on. Just for reference, also, is there's a lot of times that I watch these videos, you start to wonder, who is this person? What are they? Stats wise, I guess I should say. Like, you don't really have a frame of reference of what is it they're lifting, what is their age, what, all that stuff, their height, everything, because it can put a thought in your head of you should be doing this because they are that. Frame of reference, I'm 6'3" on a good day, 6'2" on a bad day. I mean that very seriously. Is he for the health? Some days you're taller, there's still others to it. But anyways, ultimately 6'3". Right now, I'm floating right around 210 pounds consistently. That's the average. I float between 208 at nighttime, first thing in the morning, 208, right on the scale before I do anything. 2 at nighttime, floating around 213-ish. So on average, 210 seems to be a good number. I'm trying to get up to, honestly, 230 in a very clean way. And that's just where I want to be at. Again, 6'3", currently 210, trying to get to 230 on average. I want it to be lean muscle mass. From there, like I said before, I was lifting for a while before this and got heavy into the weights. A couple buddy of mine are actually bodybuilders, and I got caught up in that crowd. Never went and did shows, never got hooked on the, taking my body to the extreme side. Tempting, but I didn't do it. It just didn't make sense. What the hell was I doing ultimately if I did that? But I did get myself up to a clean 230, like ripped ass muscle 235. Like, it was solid. The highest I've ever been, which was not good, was 250. That was not super clean. That was actually, like, I looked big in clothes, but there was no definition. I looked very, a lot of water weight. I looked flat or not flat, but looked very blurry, I guess is a good way to put it. No bunch of definition, not a bunch of vascularity. Not strong as an ox, though. Jesus Christ, I could pick up anything and lift anything. The problem was that being an athlete back then, I was putting on weight because I kept thinking like it was badass. And this will be a whole other story because it's important. But just a roundabout, as many super awesome star athletes do, I played slow pitch softball. At that time, I was 250 pounds. Well, I had a lot of college scholarships to different schools when I was younger, and I acted as if I was still that person at 250 pounds. So I'd be running around the outfield, running down fly balls I had no business running down. I did that for a few years and traveled all over the nation playing. But it's funny because eventually when I got to that 250, guess what happened? My body said, fuck you, dude. You don't get to do both. So, pulled a hamstring, pulled a groin. And then once I let that rehab-ish, pushed it, blew my hamstring out. So then, limp off the field. Again, it's all slow pitch softball, man. This isn't like hardcore sports. This is slow pitch softball. And I'm hurt myself on the field. So that happened. Then shortly after that, I let that kind of somewhat heal. And then that was something that was so dumb because I tore it. Again, long story short, so I won't go into deep into it, but we will one day. 3/4 tear. They couldn't do surgery because they said it wasn't a full tear. So they called it a stage 2 or stage 3, whatever. Anyways, couldn't do surgery. So now my hamstring looks like shit on my right side right here. It looks like an ice cream scoop came out of it to this day. So that hindered me. Then shortly after that, I still stayed on I'm going to be as big as I can. I'm going to eat a shit ton of food, 7,000 to 8,000 calories a day of clean food. And then I was running down fly balls out in the outfield, jumped up to the fence to rob a home run. Blew my entire knee out. Literally just turned it all the wrong way. The whole knee went sideways, blew out all the ligaments. You know, ACL, LCL, PCL, and what the hell's the rear one? The rear one was all blown out too. Had to have surgery on that. Had to have men carry me off the field on that one again. So pitch off ball middle of the night. I'm weighing 250 pounds and I can't move because my knee is just garbage. And yeah, I had to get carried off the field. And the funniest part about that is, since I'm this bloated mess of just what seems like muscle, but was just weight, they had to keep taking multiple breaks to get me to the car because they couldn't pick me up and carry me. So, oh, what a mess. What a joke. So anyways, let's do this last set here, chest, and let's get through this. But yeah, so that's where I'm at for stats. Oh, man. Okay. So that's it for chest. But that kind of gives you a frame of reference of who I am, where I'm coming from, why I'm doing the weight I'm doing. I used to be able to do a lot more. It was stupid though. It wasn't clean. I didn't look great. But again, that's why after 4 weeks of incline chest press, I'm at 225 for, what was that? Hell, I don't even count. I kind of just go into feel. I don't know, 6, maybe 5, somewhere in that range. But I go until I can't get that last one, until I think I can get maybe 2 more. Sometimes I push a little far, to be honest. That's it. I come over to my little board. Probably just out a picture here now that I'm standing over here, I'm assuming. Give myself a little check mark. Then I move on to the next one. Because it's Saturday, so I've got more time. More time to be with you guys, got more time to talk about the fitness side. So I just did my chest. Just mark that as I just said off camera. Pow. What's next? What do we got next down this line? We got 2 there, we got a 1 there, a 1 there. We got traps. Only done twice, and that's actually 12. Damn it. One thing I gotta see too is like up here on abs. Doing that every day, your abs are pretty resilient. I got 1 more set to do, so I'm gonna skip today for sure for abs. Also, back, we already did that. Biceps we did Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Probably gonna skip today and do a bunch of them on Friday or Sunday, I mean. And all that. So let's go to traps. I gotta get 12 of those anyways. I've only done, Jesus Christ, I've only done 6. Son of a bitch. All right, let's get traps ready. Let's do that. Let's get it from a little bit of a different angle. So maybe if you're one of the few that are truly watching, the workout side, hopefully you can see things a little differently. I realize that this is literally just the garage. Nothing special here. One of the main reasons I've picked the garage is because I can control my environment as far as to an extent. And also, I don't want to be those douches that go around the gym filming themselves all day. I don't hate it. It's just inconvenient for everybody else, so I don't want to create an environment. Plus, too, the gyms that we have around here, there's a couple solid ones. It's like Planet Fitness, which, love it or hate it. They honestly do what they need to do, and they're very affordable. Having said that, I'm not going to film in Planet Fitness. They don't let you. And they're missing a lot of the machines that I would want when it comes to my fitness side of things. So, yeah, so there's that. And the other one is we have a Vasa Fitness. Kind of the same boat, really. They got a pretty damn good price for starting. Thing is, for us here, Vasa's like the big gym here. It's crowded a lot, man. It's crowded a lot. There are people filming themselves. Not a big deal. Like I said, we're in the Midwest. Not a huge town, but we're in the Midwest here in Indiana. It's Lafayette, so it's not tiny. It's not massive though either. It's where Purdue University is. So I mean, there's aspects of that can be huge, but anyways, just people don't enjoy the whole being filmed or things. It's not as common, so you try to respect that space, because I know some people's train of thoughts there are, well, I'm doing my thing, they shouldn't have to worry about that. Well, you know what? Let's be a respectable human being. Let's make sure that we respect other humans in this space, in this world. So, I mean, how do you expect anybody to respect you if you don't respect them? You gotta give them the benefit of the doubt in the early days. They show themselves to be an ass. Well, you know what? Control what you can control. Can't control them anyways. So for me, that's why I chose the garage. But also, let's be real too. Like, I have all this gym equipment. It's kind of a big part too. Like this, some of the stuff I bought because I needed it to keep my life together. But a lot of it, in the early days, like I said, when I did a lot of personal training in person. Like, I had a big pole barn in my old house. I haven't talked much about my past, like before the divorce. Dude, I had a huge pole barn that was set up for batting cages. I set up for strength. I literally did it all in there and trained a lot of people, trained them online. So I had a whole studio in there, had the house, had all the land, had the everything. Again, another story for a different day. But I had a lot of this stuff because you heard me say Purdue University, well, they were remodeling their gym facility, the co-rec. And I mean, massive. You're talking about a big 10 university. Literally redoing all of it from top to bottom and getting all brand new equipment. So, quick side note for everybody. If you live anywhere near a university or a big gym or somebody and you hear of them doing a remodeling, two things. For us here locally, we have a surplus store for the university, and I'm pretty sure all of them have that. Go there and see if they're selling stuff from the university. It's old. And if you see they're doing a remodel of sorts, they're going to be selling that crap at that place. So you can get it for dirt ass cheap. Same with the gyms remodeling. Go to the gym. Ask the front desk person, what are they doing with the equipment? 99% of the time, they're going to say, I don't know, I'm not the owner. Say, okay, cool. Can you have them call me? And also, what's their email? Get the information. Send the email. Call them, have them call you, whatever, who cares? But just ask the questions. You can get a lot of shit dirt ass cheap. And then plus there's wholesale sites online, just all of it. You don't need to buy everything. You just need to get yourself to certain things that can help you out. The cable crossover is massive. But you can just build it. Anyways, that's beside the point. But that was the other reason I started doing this in the garage, because I had the stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I had it. So I had the stuff already. So why not do it? Do it at home. Who cares? I can do these videos. I can do it my own free will. Guess what? In the early days, when I wasn't sleeping, guess what I do? Come out to the fucking garage and do my work. Do my workout. So that was nice. And then also, if I want to do it in the early morning, 4 a.m., workout, I can come right here. I don't have to get up extra early to drive anywhere. I could just walk straight out, put on joggers, put on a sweatshirt of randomness, and start my workout. Same with right after work. There is no, I got to pack a bag to go do this and go do that. So for me, it just worked out really well. But that's where it's at. So when it comes to these traps, though, let's get back to a little bit more functionality here. Again, I picked this one workout for traps. I used to do traps in 3 different exercises, and holy shit, mine grew fast. You'll find that out too by yourself. Something's going to go, some muscles will grow faster than others. There's just something weird about using an individual. It's like, holy shit, mine are my traps. Super weird body part, but holy shit, they blow up. They blow up in height, they blow up in density on the back, on top, and I've never gotten more compliments about any other muscle group than my traps. I constantly get comments. Hell, there's times I won't even work them out for months because they overdevelop. Yeah. So this is the one thing I'll do for right now. I'm going to keep switching around until they get overdeveloped again. I will probably keep doing a type of trap workout, but once they do, I'll stop. Well, this is my last set right here. I'm going to finish this out. And we're going to be done, guys. Hopefully I can keep these videos a little shorter, but this is it, man. That's it. This is the fitness side of it, and let's finish this out strong. Probably going to take a little bit of an over-underhand grip here on this one. You know what? No, I'm not. Fuck that. It's for bitches. That's that bitch voice. Boss voice, handle your shit. Let's go. Look good naked. Let's go. All right, till next time. See you guys.